Last night, my wife and I watched The Amazing Spider Man 2, which is what's good and what's bad. The guy playing Spider Man aged a lot from the first time he played it, and now he's like playing like a college freshman and he looks like 40. Anyhow, in terms of computer graphic effects, it's an astonishing movie. And I was trying to explain to my wife why it is that Spider Man is actually the third most important superhero. Because she's a girl, so she never bought comic books. She didn't actually know what that whole thing was about. Whereas I make a big show of like having read everything in the world. Actually read a whole bunch of junk juvenile literature, which is what this is probably going to turn into eventually. Because there was Superman, who was from an alien planet. Okay, that's one superhero model. This has been copied endlessly. And then there was Batman, who was like a technological model. It's like he was not, well, he was like strong and everything, but basically he was a function of Gotham City and high technology. But then there was Spider-Man. He was like number 3 on the totem pole. He came along later. And what was interesting about him was that he was like a blend of technology, the city, and nature. Not alien nature, but our own nature. He was a spider. He was also young and misunderstood and callow and had all kinds of like adolescent problems. And he was the perfect superhero for my generation, which was, I didn't know it yet, but even when I was reading him as a kid, he was going to be the hero of the 60s. You see, I bought a bunch of comic books when I was a kid. My mother was like, slip me the quarter that it took to like buy 2 comic books when we went to Richardson's country store on a Sunday to get subs. She knew she was being seditious, but she knew that I was also reading everything else in sight, so she wasn't worried about it. And now, you see, I confront the the fact that an incredible amount of talent in every possible way went into like turning these comic book people into like movies and scripts. And I can't believe how much talent has been like wasted on this whole effort. And I don't mean that in any condescending way. It's like these are all people who wanted to believe. That's what sci-fi is all about. People who want to believe in the future. But I can't believe the intricacy of their interest in everything that goes into making a movie script and all the effects for a movie like this. I can't imagine what else they might have done with their lives. It's as if they are slowly rediscovering everything that actually makes drama what drama is. But they had to like jam pack it all with like all this action and all this like flamboyant nonsense. And I don't entirely understand what the point of it is, and I get tired of it all very quickly. But I can remember the thrill of getting the comic books when I was a kid. But it wasn't just comic books. I had a whole stack of books that I had to hide from my dad that were given to me by a friend, Tom Swift. Have any of you ever heard of Tom Swift? He had, well, actually, there were like 2 generations at least of Tom Swift. There was the old Tom Swift who like had the giant cannon, and there was the like new Tom Swift who had like giant flying lab. And he's like thinking about science all the time. So I read all that stuff too, until my father found the stack of books and like threw it all away. And then underneath all of that was, of course, Jules Verne. There was the guy who invented science fiction, actually, Edgar Allan Poe, who made their living actually writing science fiction in place of literature. And I have to confess, I never found them terribly exciting. Arthur Clarke, Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov. Well, in fact, here's a funny thing. On the day that I sold the Boomer Bible, I actually saw Isaac Asimov stepping off a street corner, off a sidewalk in New York City. I thought, oh my God, this might be some kind of an omen. It wasn't. I never sold nearly as many books as Isaac Asimov did. But I always thought that they had like driven all the drama, the blood out of life in favor of science. And what happened actually was like a split. It's like the drama, the excitement, the liveliness all went to the comic books, and the science and the dreariness all went to science fiction. So we were watching Spider-Man, and I was trying to explain all this to my wife, and she said, "Well," she said, "it's a good movie. That's one of the better movies I've seen." And we saw it like Stan Lee in an opening scene, and she didn't object to the appearance, the aged appearance of the young superstar. And we had a good time watching it.